Welcome to a journey through some of the most remarkable heritage sites on Earth. From ancient cities that rose along historic rivers, places that once helped shape entire civilizations, to untouched natural landscapes that have existed for millions of years, where the Earth still moves in its most original rhythm. Each place carries a story of its own. They are not just monuments or landscapes, but also living spaces of festivals, rituals, and community life preserved through many generations, where culture does not sit inside a museum, but continues to unfold every single day. And the journey begins with a scene that, at just a glance, makes you understand why this place is called a heritage site. Historic center of Rome. Along the Tiber River in central Italy, this heritage site, covering around 1,430 hectares, was recognized by UNESCO in 1980 and preserves more than 2,500 years of continuous development of a city that had a profound influence on Western civilization. Formed in the 8th century BC, this area was once the center of power of the Roman Empire, which reached its peak in the year 117 with around 60 million people, leaving behind an iconic system of public buildings and political spaces. On this journey of discovery, the Colosseum is often the first stop, an arena completed in the year 80 that once hosted tens of thousands of spectators for large-scale events. Today, it has become one of the most visited attractions, allowing people to observe ancient architecture and imagine the public life of ancient Rome. Not far from there, the Pantheon, built in the year 126, stands out with its concrete dome measuring 43.3 meters in diameter, still almost completely intact after nearly 2 millennia, and is often included in walking tours that connect the historic sites in the heart of Rome. Today, this area is not only an archaeological destination, but also a vibrant part of the city, where Natale di Roma takes place on April 21st, recalling 753 B.C., the legendary founding date of the city. Leaving behind the cradle of empires that once shaped the world, the journey opens into a space where history and art blend across two halves of a continent. Old Town Prague. Located along the Vltava River in the heart of the Czech Republic, Old Town Prague began forming in the 9th century when Slavic communities settled around Prague Castle, built in the year 880. By 1348, under the reign of Charles IV, the area became the capital of the Holy Roman Empire, with more than 50 trade routes linking Eastern and Western Europe, laying the foundation for the urban structure that still exists today. Old Town stands out with Charles Bridge, stretching 516 meters. Construction began in 1357, and it is adorned with 30 Baroque stone statues. The bridge not only connects the two riverbanks, but also showcases medieval engineering, drawing visitors through its historical value and the rare chance to experience a structure preserved almost in its original state. At the city center lies a square featuring the astronomical clock, operating since 1410, reflecting mechanical advancements and the timekeeping capabilities of that historical period. From cobblestone streets echoing an ancient rhythm of life, we step into a land where nature reveals its raw and primal power. Yellowstone National Park. An ancient volcanic ecosystem spreads across an area of 8,983 square kilometers, spanning the states of Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, formed by a supervolcano around 2.1 million years ago, creating more than 10,000 hot springs and 500 active geysers. Its preservation is closely tied to the establishment of Yellowstone National Park in 1872, marking the world's first national park and setting a model for tourism based on protecting ecosystems while honoring the presence of indigenous communities who have lived here for over 11,000 years. A scenic route of about 230 kilometers takes visitors to Old Faithful, which erupts on average every 90 minutes, and to Yellowstone Lake, covering roughly 352 square kilometers, while also offering chances to observe American bison and grizzly bears in their natural habitat, combining wildlife watching with immersive experiences in this unique natural environment. As steam and the earth gradually settle, ahead lies a land of burning sands, where humans once reached toward the limits of immortality. Pyramids of Giza. Located in the Giza area on the western edge of the Nile River, this complex was built between 2580 and 20510 BC during the reigns of Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, reflecting the Old Kingdom at the height of its power. The three main pyramids, together with the Sphinx, form a ceremonial center connected to beliefs about the afterlife, where royal burial rituals were carried out under strict standards. From the Grand Egyptian Museum, which preserves more than 100,000 artifacts, the journey toward the site helps reveal the social structure, religion, and authority of ancient Egypt. The Pyramid of Khufu originally stood about 146 meters tall, built from more than 2.3 million stone blocks with an average weight of 2.5 tons, precisely aligned with the four cardinal directions with minimal error. The entrance leads through a system of ascending corridors connected to a granite burial chamber deep inside, showing advanced construction and spatial organization techniques. Wasimel the Sphinx, about 73 meters long and 20 meters high, was carved directly from limestone, combining the body of a lion with a human head, symbolizing power and protection over the complex. Moving between the structures is often done by camel or on foot across wide sandy paths, allowing direct access to each monument with clear distances. The visitor routes connect the pyramids with exhibition areas and nearby service zones, where foods like baladi bread and kebab are served, reflecting how modern daily life continues alongside this ancient heritage space. Leaving behind the timeless mysteries of the desert, the journey shifts toward a place where knowledge once became the foundation of an entire era. City of Salamanca. This urban center in the Castilla y León region lies about 200 kilometers northwest of Madrid. First formed in the 3rd century BC under Celtic settlement and later expanded significantly after the year 1102 when King Alfonso VI led reconstruction, establishing the foundation for a long-standing academic city in Salamanca. The university, founded in 1218, serves as a major center of knowledge with tens of thousands of students today, closely associated with its distinctive golden sandstone buildings. Plaza Mayor Salamanca, built between 1729 and 1755, and covering around 6,400 square meters, clearly reflects Spanish Baroque style and functions as a key urban gathering space. A typical visit lasts about 2 to 3 hours, guiding travelers through the Old Town, past Salamanca Cathedral, completed in 1733, and the famous carved frog detail on the university facade, symbolizing an academic tradition that has been preserved across generations. The experience is enriched by local cuisine, such as jamón ibérico and chorizo sausage, along with activities in September during the Virgen de la Verga festival, where music and parades come together, offering a clear view into the cultural life of the local community. From historic lecture halls, a strange new world appears, where stone and time come together to tell their story. Cappadocia. Located on the central Anatolian plateau of Turkey, Cappadocia was shaped by volcanic activity around 60 million years ago, creating soft, tough rock that is easy to carve. And it became home to the Hittites and later Christian communities from the 4th century. Staying in cave dwellings reflects how people adapted to harsh natural conditions over thousands of years. At the heart of the region lies an underground architectural system with more than 200 multi-level cities, some reaching depths of 85 meters like Derinkuyu, built around the 8th century BC with ventilation shafts and rolling stone doors for protection. Moving through narrow tunnels allows visitors to clearly observe ancient spatial planning and construction techniques. Local culture is expressed through pottery making in Avanos, with a history of over 4,000 years. Along with traditional autumn rituals and folk music, the cuisine stands out with testi kebab, slow cooked in a sealed clay pot for about 2 hours, creating a unique regional flavor, raising the question of how such a harsh yet distinctive land could sustain life for thousands of years. Leaving behind the mysterious caves, the journey leads toward a space of power shaped by light and intricate patterns. Alhambra. Formed in 1238 under the Nasrid dynasty on Sabika Hill, this complex represents more than 250 years of Islamic rule before the turning point in 1492, when Granada transitioned to Christian control. Today, around 2.7 million visitors each year explore a space of nearly 142,000 square meters, experiencing historical transitions across interconnected sections. The spatial design creates a constantly shifting experience, moving from narrow corridors into open courtyards. Most notably, the Court of Lions, completed in 1362, with 124 marble columns surrounding a central fountain. More than 10,000 geometric patterns, combined with materials like cedar wood and plaster, help regulate temperature naturally while reflecting religious aesthetics. Throughout the journey, visitors encounter Arabic inscriptions alongside Christian influences, revealing centuries of cultural landing. The experience is often paired with tasting tapas, chamon serrano, or mint tea in Granada, especially during the Corpus Christi festival, dating back to the 16th century, all within the same historical setting. From palaces marked by Eastern influence, we return to a place where the earliest ideas of democracy were born. Acropolis of Athens. Located on a rocky hill about 156 meters high in Athens, the Acropolis was built starting in 447 BC under the leadership of Pericles, serving as the political and religious center of ancient Greece. Its most iconic structure is the Parthenon, completed in 432 BC, featuring 46 Doric columns made of Pentelic marble, known for its precise proportions and subtle visual correction techniques. Visitors begin at the propylaear entrance, walking along ancient stone paths leading up to the summit, where the space opens to a full panoramic view of Athens. The most striking moment is standing at the center and looking down at the modern city, in contrast with monuments that are over 2,400 years old. At sunset, golden light reflects off the white stone, making the structures appear more defined and visually powerful. The Acropolis is closely tied to the worship of the goddess Athena, reflecting the spiritual life of ancient Greeks. Today, it attracts more than 3 million visitors each year and connects with cultural events such as the Athens Epidaurus Festival, offering an experience that blends history with real, present-day activity. As the past slowly comes to a close, ahead stands a structure that has never stopped evolving with time and belief. Sagrada Família Basilica. Originating from a neighborhood in Barcelona in the late 19th century, construction began in 1882 and shifted direction in 1883 under the vision of Antoni Gaudí. After more than 140 years of continuous building, the structure is still evolving with an expected completion around 2030, while welcoming over 4.5 million visitors each year. Structurally, Gaudí applied an inverted hanging model method to calculate forces, creating branching tilted columns inspired by nature. The interior is organized around 3 facades representing stages of the life of Christ, including Nativity, Passion, and Glory, each expressed through different forms and levels of completion. Religious symbolism is integrated into urban life, connecting with cultural activities in Barcelona, especially the La Mercè festival, reflecting the relationship between architecture, belief, and community over time. Leaving the world of modern curves behind, the journey moves toward a place where mythology and the universe merge as one. Angkor Wat. The central structure was initiated around 1150 under the reign of Suryavarman II, forming part of a heritage complex in Siem Reap province, where the legacy of the Khmer Empire and modern urban activity coexist within the same space. Its architecture is aligned toward the symbolic Mount Meru, with layered spatial arrangements guiding visitors inward through long corridors covered in continuous bas-reliefs depicting epics and religious imagery, showing how ancient Khmer people used architecture to express cosmic order and spiritual belief. Expanding outward, Angkor Thom appears as a planned ancient city with surrounding walls of about 12 kilometers in perimeter and gateways aligned to the 4 cardinal directions, reflecting spatial organization tied to centralized power and governance in the later period of the Khmer Empire. Within this urban space, Bayon Temple stands out with 54 towers bearing faces looking in multiple directions, representing a shift in architectural expression under Buddhist influence and the symbolic portrayal of royal authority. The connection between Angkor Wat, Angkor Thom, and Bayon creates a continuous journey through ritual, administration, and cultural symbolism, highlighting the complex as a unified system and a major heritage and tourism center in the region. From sacred temples, we drift toward a land where life flows with water and canals. Venice. Formed across more than 118 small islands in the Adriatic Lagoon, Venice developed from the 5th century as people migrated to escape invasions, creating a city built on a network of canals and around 400 bridges, where urban transportation relies primarily on water rather than roads. Major waterways like the Grand Canal serve as central transport routes connecting key districts, while gondolas about 11 meters long and public boats are used for movement throughout the city, reflecting an urban structure directly adapted to water conditions. St. Mark's Square, covering about 12,000 square meters, acts as the central space surrounded by Gothic and Byzantine architecture, and it hosts the famous carnival dating back to the 13th century, a cultural event that continues to shape modern life. Venetian cuisine includes dishes such as squid ink risotto and cicchetti, served across the historic center, tied to the lives of around 50,000 residents, living with rising sea levels of about 2 millimeters per year, directly affecting infrastructure and daily activities. As life on the water settles, the journey returns to ancient traces still filled with mystery. Stonehenge. Located in southern England, Stonehenge was built between 3000 BC and 1600 BC, using sandstone blocks weighing around 25 tons on average, along with bluestones transported from over 200 kilometers away, arranged in a circle nearly 33 meters in diameter, using precise jointing techniques. Recognized by UNESCO in 1986, the site is accessed through a route about 1.5 kilometers long, allowing visitors to observe the stone circle and its alignment, especially during the summer solstice when the sun rises directly along the main axis, creating a clearly visible astronomical phenomenon. Archaeological discoveries of more than 4,000 burial pits and settlement traces show that this was once a major ceremonial center linked to beliefs about death and rebirth, with its purpose and construction methods still not fully understood. Stonehenge continues to raise questions about the knowledge and beliefs of prehistoric people. From these silent stone circles, we move toward a civilization where light and shadow were calculated down to every moment. Chichén Itzá. This urban ceremonial complex of the Maya developed from the 6th century and reached its peak between 900 and 1200, clearly reflecting a social structure tied to agriculture and an expanded trade network of about 200 kilometers. Cenotes with an average depth of around 20 meters serve not only as water sources, but also as sites for rituals dedicated to the rain god Chamek. The main attraction is the Kukulkan Pyramid, about 24 meters high with 365 steps, where during the spring and autumn equinoxes, light creates the illusion of a serpent about 37 meters long, moving along the staircase. Nearby, a ball court around 168 meters long shows how space was designed for both ritual and community activities, allowing visitors to see the connection between architecture and astronomy. The entire complex includes around 30 limestone structures arranged by function, and as visitors move through these areas, they can observe the layout of a complete urban ceremonial center, gaining insight into how the Maya organized daily life, practiced beliefs, and structured shared spaces within a unified system. As ancient rituals fade away, ahead lies a city carved directly into stone in a harsh landscape. Ancient City of Petra. Located in southern Jordan, this ancient city developed around the 4th century BC and reached its peak in the 1st century AD with a population of nearly 20,000 people, controlling a trade route over 800 kilometers connecting Arabia to the Mediterranean, a water system nearly 30 kilometers long with more than 200 reservoirs shows advanced engineering in a dry environment, reflecting a lifestyle shaped by trade and desert beliefs. Passing through a canyon about 1.2 kilometers long, visitors reach Al-Khazneh, around 40 meters high and carved directly into sandstone, displaying a blend of Greek and Eastern architectural influences. Experiences like camel riding, reenacted merchant rituals, and Bedouin music help illustrate how communities live through trade and belief systems. More than 600 structures, including the Ad-Dea Monastery at 45 meters high and a theater holding 8,000 people, show that Petra was once a major religious center where rituals and trade festivals shaped identity, offering insight into how ancient societies maintain power. Leaving behind the glowing red cliffs, the journey opens to a place where two continents meet across a narrow stretch of water. Istanbul, connected to the Bosphorus Strait, stretching about 30 kilometers. Istanbul was founded in 660 BC and served as the capital of both the Byzantine and Ottoman empires. With its strategic position linking two continents, creating trade flows for more than 2,500 years, where commerce, religion, and culture have continuously intertwined and evolved. In the historic center, Hagia Sophia, built in 537 with a dome about 55 meters high, clearly reflects religious transformations over time, forming a structure layered with history. Nearby, the Grand Bazaar, covering more than 30,000 square meters with around 4,000 shops, reflects traditional commerce still active today, combined with the call to prayer echoing 5 times daily from mosque towers, creating a rhythm of religious life that can be directly felt in the city. Monumental sites like Topkapi Palace, spanning nearly 700,000 square meters, and the Blue Mosque with its extensive tile decoration show how architecture expresses power and belief, while community activities such as Ramadan and religious practices continue to shape daily life, allowing visitors to see the continuity of cultural identity in the modern world. From these crossroads of civilizations, we return to the cradle of art and the rebirth of human thought. City of Florence. Founded in 59 BC in central Italy, Florence grew rapidly in the 14th century with a population of around 100,000. Becoming a center of the Renaissance and the European financial system, where trade networks spanning hundreds of kilometers gave rise to a class of merchants and artists, laying the foundation for a period of cultural and creative expansion. Within its historic center of about 505 hectares, Florence Cathedral, with its dome reaching around 114 meters, completed in 1436, stands as a testament to Brunelleschi's engineering advancement. Nearby, the Uffizi Gallery houses more than 1,500 works by masters such as Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Botticelli, while traditions like Calcio Storico continue to reflect long-standing community life. Landmarks such as Ponte Vecchio, with over 40 goldsmith shops operating continuously since the 14th century, and Pitti Palace, once home to the Medici collections, reveal the connection between economy, art, and power, allowing visitors to see how Florence has sustained and developed its creative legacy across centuries within the same urban space. Leaving behind Renaissance masterpieces, the journey returns to the east, where the memory of a trading port still lights up every narrow street. Hoi An Ancient Town. From the 16th century, this central Vietnamese trading port became an international hub, welcoming hundreds of merchant ships each year from Japan, China, and Europe, forming a multicultural community that lasted for centuries, leaving clear marks in wooden houses, assembly halls, and religious structures reflecting a merchant life tied to the sea and trade. Walking along streets stretching about 2 kilometers, visitors reach the Japanese covered bridge, built in 1593 with its unique wooden structure, along with Tan Ki Ancient House, preserving trade records and artifacts from the 18th century. The atmosphere comes alive during full moon nights when lantern releases and community rituals take place, revealing the close link between belief and daily life. Assembly halls such as Fujian preserve statues of the sea goddess Tian Hao, reliefs, and rituals for peace, showing how the Chinese community maintained its identity while offering deeper insight into the social structure of this ancient urban setting. From a space shaped by trade, we step into a city defined by power, color, and ritual. City of Jaipur. Established in 1727 in northern India, Jaipur was planned with a layout of 9 functional zones and streets about 34 meters wide, forming an urban system where movement, trade, and ceremonial life operate side by side, creating a foundation for exploring royal architecture within the city core. One of the first landmarks is Taj Mahal, about 15 meters high with 953 windows, showing how architecture was designed to observe life outside while maintaining privacy, reflecting daily rhythms shaped by social conditions and climate. Continuing through the historic complex, Amber Fort reveals interior spaces like Chichén Mahal, where light is used to create reflective effects for royal life. While traditional festivals such as Holi are still celebrated, linking architecture, ritual, and community life within a highly symbolic setting. From another perspective, Jantar Mantar Jaipur, built in 1734, features astronomical instruments used for time measurement and tracking celestial movements, showing how scientific knowledge was integrated into daily life and ceremonial practices, completing the experience of exploring a city where science, culture, and power coexist within one system. As the colors gradually fade, the journey ends in a place where every step becomes an inward spiritual path. Borobudur Temple. This large-scale Buddhist complex in central Java, Indonesia, was built in the 8th century under the Sailendra dynasty and completed around 825. From Yogyakarta, a 40-kilometer journey brings visitors to Borobudur Park, reflecting a period when Mahayana Buddhism flourished, where the transition of space and spiritual meaning becomes clear at every level. The step structure consists of 9 levels, 6 square and 3 circular, rising about 35 meters after restoration in 1975. The monument features 2,672 relief panels stretching over 5 kilometers, 504 Buddha statues, and 72 stupas surrounding the central dome, allowing visitors to observe scenes from the life of the Buddha as they ascend. Cultural activities are closely tied to Vesak celebrations, which have attracted thousands of Buddhist followers since rituals were revived in 1953. Visitors can join lantern releases and nighttime processions from Mendut Temple to Borobudur, while the Kama Wibhenga Museum displays excavated artifacts, adding depth to the overall experience. Machu Picchu, Peru. At an elevation of about 2,430 meters in the Andes of southern Peru, the complex was built in the 5th-10th century under the rule of Inca Pachacuti, serving as a ceremonial center and royal residence before being abandoned in the 16th century as the empire declined. Stone terraces line the mountainside, supported by a water system stretching nearly 750 meters that still functions today, alongside more than 150 granite structures precisely fitted without mortar. Walking past the Temple of the Sun and Intihuatana, visitors can clearly recognize the advanced astronomical alignment based on solar cycles. Recognized by UNESCO in 1983 and welcoming around 1.5 million visitors annually, Machu Picchu now limits entry to 4,044 people per day through time slots to preserve the site. Standing at the Sun Gate at sunrise, the journey concludes with a strong sense of connection between Inca heritage and sustainable tourism in modern Peru. From a place where clouds touch stone and history rests in silence at high altitude, the journey suddenly drops into endless walls stretching along the ridgeline, clinging tightly to the mountain spine. Great Wall, China. Stretching across northern China, the structure began in the 3rd century BCE under Qin Shi Huang and was significantly expanded during the Ming Dynasty from the 14th to 17th centuries, forming a defensive system about 21,196 kilometers long, while controlling borders and transmitting signals through watchtowers placed at fixed intervals. Its construction changes with the terrain, using rammed earth in arid regions and brick and stone in key sections. At Badaling, the wall stands 7 to 8 meters high with a wide walkway, while passes like Zhuangguan are designed as enclosed fortresses combined with moats and observation points, reflecting adaptive engineering on steep mountains. Walking along restored sections, the constantly shifting slopes break your rhythm and gradually open wider views with each elevation change. In autumn, reenactments of traditional ceremonies appear along the route, linking the travel experience directly with its historical setting. While your steps are still quick on the ancient slopes, the scene suddenly shifts into a quiet space where light, water, and white stone tell a story without words. Taj Mahal, India. Construction began in 1632 in Agra under the reign of Shah Jahan and was completed in 1653 as a mausoleum for Mumtaz Mahal, reflecting the peak of power and artistic achievement of the Mughal Empire in the 17th century. The spatial layout follows the Charbagh garden design, divided into 4 sections by water channels, leading directly to the central white marble structure, about 73 meters high. 4 minarets, around 40 meters tall, are placed slightly outward at the corners to reduce structural risk, while pietra dura inlay with semi-precious stones and Quran calligraphy creates decoration with clear religious meaning. From the Darwaza-e Gate, the approach does not reveal everything at once, but unfolds gradually along a straight axis. As you move deeper inside, the monument slowly appears and shifts through its reflection on the water, especially in the morning when sunlight hits the marble surface directly. Within the complex, the Taj Mahal Museum preserves drawings, tools, and construction artifacts, showing a building process that lasted over 20 years, with thousands of craftsmen involved. During Eid celebrations, large crowds gather and religious rituals take place within the space, connecting the experience directly with contemporary cultural life. And just when everything seems to reach its peak, the journey gently slows down, drifting toward a quiet corner by the water where time appears to pause, just long enough for you to truly take it in. Hallstatt, Austria. Set between Hallstatt See and the Duckstein Range, the settlement develops vertically with multi-story wooden houses clinging to the rock face, steep roofs and narrow balconies. Marktplatz serves as the central square, while the Hallstatt Lutheran Church Tower stands out clearly within the compact space. Originating from salt mining activities around the 8th century BCE, the site has been continuously inhabited through multiple periods, with salt playing a key economic role and sustaining the community for thousands of years. Approaching from the boat dock, the route follows the edge of the water before gradually climbing uphill. Perspectives shift with each elevation, from lakeside houses to a full panoramic view from above. While during Corpus Christi, decorated boats and rituals take place directly on the water, creating clear and visually striking scenes for filming. The journey to explore the most beautiful heritage sites on Earth may come to a close, but the beauty of the world never truly ends. Each place we pass through is not just a landscape, but a story of history, culture, and people preserved over thousands of years. If you found this journey meaningful and inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help spread these incredible values to more people. In the next video, we will continue exploring lands filled with hidden mysteries and lesser-known wonders that are just as impressive, and they will definitely surprise you. Thank you for spending your time with us, and see you again on the next journey.